Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors in Winston-Chester. Glad you're here this Monday morning. What a way to start the week. I know a lot of y'all are sitting down with a coffee and just relaxing, and some of y'all are sort of DVR'd it and picking me up a little bit later. But irregardless, I'm glad you're watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate the viewership, and we're going to get started with our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. Don't forget about that aviation mechanics class we had on this past Friday. Really good situation there if you want to get outdoors and do some stuff. Good way to get it done. High today is going to be all the way up to 87, low 73. We're in this little cool snap. You know, this is a high of 87. It's pretty cool this time of the year. So weather's sort of, really unsettled now. This front and all is going to come in, come back out and all that. So just be aware of it. The fish are, a lot of times we react to this frontal movement by these fronts. A lot of times, in fact, most of the time they will. Water temperatures at 85 degrees. Let's take a look at our Monday moon forecast brought to us by Sandhill Seafood. We're looking at really at a half a moon right now. It's exactly a half moon, and the full moon is going to be on the 9th and 10th of August. We're looking at a Sunday and a Monday. 2 weeks from now will be the full moon. So we're on a waxing moon. It's building up, and a lot of stuff going on these next 2 weeks here. We got a big king mackerel tournament down the sea quarters. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. But a lot of good stuff going on. Hopefully we'll get scallop season started pretty soon. The tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery, looking on July the 31st, the last day of the month. We have a little bit of a tide. Highs at 4:45 a.m. and low at 3:48. But looking on into the weekend, I know you don't see it on the chart there, but this weekend is going to be some really good, strong tides. Okay? Let's go ahead and take our break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We're going to get started with a little video, about a minute, but I want to give a little background to it. You know, for all this time, a lot of people have been catching a lot of black drum, and we talked about how many black drum we've had and how healthy they are. And big old, really large black drum, and I've made the comments, you know, might as well go ahead and just release them because they're not any good to eat. And that's been our theme, you know, for a good while. If you're not going to eat the fish, always release it. That's just a rule of thumb I've always had, and a lot of y'all have. But a lot of people do eat them. I saw a guy the other day with a little power saw cut the head off. It was a huge one. They just cut the head off and just filleted it just like that. It was amazing. But anyway, Russell Cooper from East Point, I put this little video on social media on Facebook, and it ended up Panama City Fishing page. Someone shared it with me, and I want to share it with you. It's fascinating because, you know, there's so much on social media. You sort of have to control it and control what you take in, because if not, I mean, you get bombarded with all kind of stuff, and you have to filter through it. And a lot of it is junk and not worth, you know, not true or factual or whatever. But some of it is really good. And this is what I consider a real good one, because Russell is an oarsman down there. He actually caught this black drum, and he opened it up, and he's showing what this black drum is eating. And what's fascinating, I had no idea it consumed this much stuff. So we're going to look at it here. It's only about a minute. So he's opened up so he starts peeling out. Look here, he's opening up all these little baby oysters. What's fascinating, and I want you to just look at it. This is on a black drum he caught, and actually what he used for bait was one of these little baby oysters to catch a drum. He just wanted to show. Look at there. See that little oyster right there? And so look at them, all in there. Now I want you to start, if you count them, you can't really count them, it's going to be close. Hope you had breakfast already. So anyway, look at all these little oyster shells. All these are baby oysters, and that drum has just been eating, and he estimates about 4 dozen baby oysters right there. They're not quite big enough to eat. And I think he even had to get some more. Okay, I got about 30 more seconds, and okay. And he's not trying to, he's just making a point right here. This is real people doing real things, and he opened up the intros of this black drum and just showing you how much food. And this is in one day. He figured they can eat this in a day. Now, it might be a day or two, but whatever, that's 4 dozen. That's 4 dozen, 4 dozen that one drum is taken in. A voracious appetite. They really eat a lot. So what we're having to do now, I got to think about this. And I'm going to have to talk to some marine biologists, some fish biologists. Okay, there it is. This all came out of the stomach of that black drum right there. And like I said, we don't know quite a time frame of how much they, but they eat voraciously. So they eat on a regular basis. Look at there's little baby oysters. Okay, so we're going to chill them up some more. So anyway, I'm going to talk to some marine biologists and get their thought on it. If that's the case, if they have such a voracious appetite and eating so much of those oysters that in Apalachicola Bay, they're putting a hurting on them. And you can imagine, and those are all baby oysters too. That's 4 dozen. If you go to the oyster bar, that'd have been what, $60 worth of oysters right there easily. And if the marine biologists, I don't know if they study it. They have to so much stuff they have to study and look at and all. I don't know if they really look at the black drum that much because it's just not a huge game fish as far as sport fishing. It's not a good food fish, so it's sort of sits there in the middle. I don't know if many studies on it or not, but anyway, I just think it's a good situation we need to look at. So if they are eating that many, then I would say go ahead and leave them on the bridge and just. But then you got to think. One school of thought, we've had black drum forever, or we've had oysters forever, but now do we have more black drum than we ever had? That's a question, and it's sort of like I look at it like I look at the coyotes. We used to have a few coyotes and it wasn't a problem, but now look at them. They're all over the place. They get quail and everything. The black drum might be the coyote of marine life. You stop and think about it. So it's all conjecture now, and we'll have to get some scientific facts on it. I'm going to be working on it and give you some more information as soon as I can and try to get a fisheries biologist on here to talk about it. But it's interesting, and thank you, Russell Cooper. And he already had like 40+ thousand shares of that because a lot of people don't know it. All right, let's look at I was going to look at a couple of pictures. One thing I wanted to mention, we had that Carabel, a kids tournament down at Carabel, and the Fish Florida tags, it's got a little shellfish on it. We want to be sure, if you have a chance to buy one of those tags, $22 out of every tag goes to a youth fishing project. And that's fascinating because you can do that, and a lot of people ask, what can I do? I can't take kids fishing. I can't do this. Can't do that. Buy a tag, and all those rod and reels. Over 100. Well, the first 100 kids to sign up got rod and reels because of the Fish Florida tags. I have one in my truck, and I would encourage you to do that too. A lot of good things can happen from it all throughout the state. They don't just go up there with a hand out and get some rod and reels. They got to fill out a form and an application. It's like a little mini grant. They got to make sure they're having a kids tournament and give it straight to the kids. So it's a good situation. So if you get a chance to buy a Fish Florida tag, go ahead and do that. Let's take our break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's start looking at some of our pictures now. Over the weekend, this is actually from the kids tournament last week in Carabel. This is young lady. This is Lucy Edwards, and she won first place on the Spanish. That is a nice size Spanish mackerel. Good job, Lucy. Now last week, Annalie Atkinson Chapman now, and she sent this picture in. And it was actually, the first picture I showed last week, we just had a mama bear and one cub. And look, it was a video because she had them going all the way across the road. And then I looked at the end of the video, there were actually 3 cubs. Can you believe that? And that's right there at Tyndall. She just stopped, they were crossing the road. But they're really roaming this time of year. Late summer, they're eating a lot of food and moving around. And folks, we have a lot of bears. I'm starting to see road signs, especially between here and Carabel. Slow down, bear crossing. And I saw a flashing light, said bear crossing on Highway 98. There are a lot of bears, okay? All right, the next one, there's no better karate instructor than a spider web in your face. If you walk through the woods ever, you know exactly what it's talking about. Bill Buchanan, snakes are out. That's a big old rattlesnake he took right there. Okay, Bill Buchanan, if a snake's in your backyard, I'll dispense of them. I don't mess with them much if they're not around my living areas or something, but or where I hunt, my tree stand. I don't like them in that area. Zeb Schofield and Stu up there at Deer Point Lake got a nice. Deer Point Lake has had some nice bass caught this year, some nice big bass. Oh, I got that Goliath Grouper Workshop is still okay in Panama. Okay, Carabel, August the 9th right here on Goliath Grouper, and then on August the 17th, it'll be here in Panama City at the same place they always have it out there in Carabel and Panama City. And they're talking about making a Goliath Grouper Workshop. I'm talking about making it more of a game fish and might be able to fish it. James Wesky took his son out. James fishes, when he's that age, he fished the pier. And his son's fishing the pier. He's caught a 21-pounder. The pier has been really strong. Like I say, I've called them a couple of times to get a report, and they won't return my call, but I promise you they're catching some mackerel out there. Okay? Sometimes I get the feeling a lot of people don't want locals to do stuff like this. Check this out. Carl Andrews. They may have closed scalloping season Tuesday, but they didn't mess up a good time of grandkids. Went to Lake Eufaula fishing with noodles and caught plenty. So I got a series of pictures. They were one of those families. Oh, let me talk about this a second. There were so many families planning to go scalloping last Tuesday, including mine. We had the boat ready. We had everything ready. I had friends who had reservations at the campground down there. And it's $800 a week. And he told me it was $800 for that week, and they already had reservations just because it was opening of season, and they didn't know, they're already getting down there. So many people had changed of plans, but it was very, at that last minute, you hated to see that. But it did happen, and a lot of people were just, I had people call me, they take leave, they actually take leave. A girl over in Pensacola was taking leave. Had already taken leave to come over here and scallop with her family. Just story after story people told me. I could do a whole show on the stories people told me about not being able to go scalloping. I know if you don't have this passion and desire for and love of scalloping, you may not understand it. But there's a group of people out there that has this, and they open day. We're going to be there if we can, and for that to happen, it's just it's really, really disappointing. But Carl Andrews, a lot of folks went to Plan B, and you always need to have a Plan B. And look what Carl did. He went up. He decided he already had the time off and had the kids' time. Everybody sort of planning. How you have to get jobs and babysitters and all. So he said, well, heck, we're just going up there to Lake Eufaula and go catfishing with noodles. So check it out. This is Wes and John Carl Tilghman, okay, at Lake Eufaula at Fort Gaines. Those boys, they caught, look here. They caught a boatload of catfish, fishing with noodles. And I think they were kicking baby ducks in the water or something. But anyway, look at all those. That's a good group. And then, noodle fishing is real popular. It's not that hard to do. You just, we've talked about it before. You have those noodles out there, put some bait on there, and just watch those noodles, chase them down and catch them. So it's a lot of fun to do, and especially to, go from Plan A to Plan B. And I wrote back. I said, listen, you had a lot more meat on those catfish than you did on getting those 2 gallons of scallops. He said, yeah, but they don't taste as good. All right. I was down at the Seacourt Marina at the kids tournament. Guess what? I check this out. I sent this up to my buddy Tony Bass and Wendy up there in Valdosta. I went inside the office there and took a sheet of paper. I went ahead and put Panhandle Outdoors as the winning team this year because I just felt like we're going to win. So this weekend, we'll see if we're up there. But this is last year's board. I'm just kidding them and told them we don't even need to show up. We already won. But last year, now look what the weight that won it last year. 47 pounds was in first place. Second place was 38.5 pounds. And third place was 36. And look at third and fourth. There were only 3 ounces difference between third and fourth. And if you fish tournaments and all, and I'm not a huge tournament fisherman, we fish some of them, but every ounce is important. That's why when we first started going to those bags, putting a big one in a bag and icing them down, when I first started that done, I thought that was so silly, but man, I'm a firm believer of getting that fish, don't let them dry out, get them in that bag and hold them. And that can make a difference, especially if you catch it in the morning and a couple of hours before you get back in and weigh in. And also, I want to encourage y'all to, if you get a chance to go fish it, it'll be wonderful. But if not, go down to the weigh-in either Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon. It's just a big festive activity. You saw how much fun they had on the kids tournament. Same thing with grown-ups out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So it's going to be this coming weekend. So we're starting on Friday. Friday night be the captain's meeting, okay? And let's see, I have one other, let me see what this is right here. I wanted to, this is just a red tide, the latest reading on the red tide. And they, in Gulf County, right here in the center, they'll do it. This is red tide now, and it's not algae bloom. This is different. It's like a cat and dog. They'll do it down at the old fire tower. It's not present. They'll do it at Black's Island. It's not present there. This is like a week ago. And then they'll do St. Joseph Peninsula State Park. There's a little bit of background, but that's like less than 0.10. And then the rest of the bay is not even present. So even that red tide, we're in good shape for red tide. And it's going to be, hopefully we'll know something soon about algae bloom, okay? Let's take our final break. We'll be right back with a lot more stuff. Okay, welcome back. Let's look at fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers down in Port St. Joe, looking at 7:14 to 9:14 this morning, and 7:37 to 9:37 tonight. We've had some good mornings over the weekend and the last couple of days, and going in the next couple of days. These morning times have been good. Now let's talk about, speaking of king mackerel. King mackerel have a reputation of just being such a strong fighting fish. And they're a lot of fun, and there are a lot of king mackerel out there. That's why you have these tournaments. There's two groups of king mackerel. There's the Gulf of Mexico king mackerel and the Atlantic Ocean on the Atlantic coast king mackerel. The ones on the Atlantic coast, they'll go from North Carolina down to actual southeast Florida, but there are a lot of them around Jacksonville, and those are a little bit bigger if you look at the tournaments. But here in the Gulf of Mexico, they'll spawn in the summertime all in the northern Gulf of Mexico. Of course, the migration. We talked about a migration pattern coming up in the spring, going back in the fall, but in the summer they'll spawn all throughout this area. There's big kings out there, big schools of kings, and they're voracious feeders. They eat a lot, they move around a lot. Now, the edibility, they're not very good to eat. The Food and Drug Administration, they'll list 4 main fish that they don't recommend to eat because of mercury level. This is a tilefish, a king mackerel, I wrote them down, tilefish, king mackerel, a swordfish, and a shark. Okay, those all have high levels of mercury. So I've never eaten much. I know they're good to eat and all if you grill them and do them right, but it's a mackerel taste, and I've never cared for it much, but some people I know really enjoy eating them. But anyway, the king mackerel is really special fish. They're a lot of fun to catch. They really fight. They're really strong. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I really am. I told those boys, I said, I'm more excited about this year I think I ever have been. I don't know really why, but I just am. All right, now, I hope y'all got a chance to look at Shark Week, okay? Okay, look, we're going to look, I lost it, didn't I, Jeff? We're going to, Shark Week was fascinating in itself. I'm going to pull up my shark tracker. That's what I'm working on right now. And, okay, so here it is, shark tracker. I've lost it again. Okay, here it is. All right, we're going to find it. The reason I want to pull it up because there's some sharks getting close to us. And this is an app on your phone. And here's all of the shark sightings. Okay, I'm going to pull on, check this one out, getting close to it, headed right toward Panama City. That's what I used to tell my student. Anytime I saw a shark in the Gulf of Mexico, I'd say he's headed right to Panama City. But anyway, I'm gonna ping on it. All right, that name is Miss Lily. Okay, the last time Miss Lily came up about a week ago. Here's Miss Lily right here. Miss Lily is a bull shark, and she is, of course, she's a female. She's only 6 foot 6 inches, so that she still take a chunk out of you. But she was only tagged back in August of 2017 down in Longboat Key, down in the Keys, and they don't, they say right now they travel 570 miles. Miss Lily is a bull shark. Scientists at the Nature Conservancy went on and talks about Miss Lily. And anyway, she's grown a lot lately because she's eating a lot. Okay. All right. Anyway, so now I'm gonna go back, and you can see though. I'm gonna go back here and just show you the shark activity on Shark Week. I hope you were able to enjoy Shark Week as much as I enjoy it, and it's been on a long time. But anyway, I was telling Jeff before the show started, I would love to get one of those cages. I wouldn't say it's on my bucket list, but it's just something I would love to do. I'm not going to go out of the way and go to Australia and do it. But I know they do it down around the Bahamas and all, but those little sharks aren't very big. If I get in the cage with wanting to face a shark, I want a big old shark with open mouth like that coming at me. I want to see that. But I want to be in the cage now. Don't get me wrong. But I know you do shark feeding in different places, but sharks have always fascinated me, and when they started doing Shark Week, I just become a zombie during that week. And at nighttime, I'm watching TV, watching Shark Weeks. I know, so and in the cages, I get fascinated at the cages. Sometimes you wonder those big sharks if they're going to act a hole. I was thinking about the photography this year. I was so fascinated. Every year the photography somehow gets better and better. That underwater photography, all different angles with the GoPros and all kind of different things. But the drone photography now is even getting so much better as far as zooming in and doing that from high above and seeing so many of them over there. So they do a wonderful job on Shark Week. And the thing about, they have the lemon shark, talk about a hammerhead. I know you saw the one on hammerhead. Of course, they repeat them 2 or 3 times during the week. And the hammerhead, is a smart shark. But what's fascinating, they talk about the hammerhead, and talk about the bull shark, the lemon shark, the black tip, and all those sharks. But the king of all is that great white. When they start talking about that great white, everybody sort of starts leaning a little bit closer to TV because that's that feeder. That's the top of the food chain, and it's fascinating how they had the fatalities out in California every other year, and how they're tracking them now, and how they can identify by the fin being broken off, and all that's just really interesting, and they're trying to learn more and more about it, try to make it safer and safer, and us knowing them. And they think some of them now they're coming back to the same areas, feeding the same areas, and they think now that when they're young, they're sort of teaching each other, the older brother teaching the younger brother how to do things, and all kind of theories they have they're trying to work on. So it's a lot of fun watching it. And anyway, and we do have plenty of them out here. We don't have any great whites I know of, but plenty of bull sharks and tiger sharks. Someone caught a 12-footer the other day, left it dead on the beach. FWC talking about that. So anyway, I got to wrap it up. Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Another great show lineup for tomorrow. We appreciate the viewership. Do something good for your fellow man. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.